What's up and welcome back to my channel. If you want to know how I was able to go from these t-shirts to this beautiful outfit, then continue to watch this video and do not forget to subscribe. Alright y'all, so first thing I did was I took these t-shirts and I turned them inside out. And then I found a pair of Alicia pants. Alicia, my daughter, I found a pair of her pants that fits her well, and I used that as an outline to make one side of my pants leg for her outfit. And then I just went ahead and started cutting, leaving about a ½ inch to an inch seam allowance all the way around. Once I was done with that, cutting out everything, making sure that everything was even, I used the pink pattern as a tracer for the yellow side of the pants leg. Once I was done with cutting out all my patterns, I ended up with 4 pieces, and then I went ahead and took this to my sewing machine and did a zigzag stitch. I only sewed the inside crotch area, and I did that for both patterns. Once I was done with that, I ended up laying them right sides together on top of each other, as you guys will see coming up in the video. And then I ended up sewing the outside of the pants leg as well as the inside, and that's what gave me my finished look for my pants. Well, halfway finished. I'm not quite finished yet, but you guys will see coming up exactly what I'm talking about. So right here you guys see that I'm finished. Now I laid them right sides together on top of each other, and I'm going to go ahead and take it to my sewing machine and do a zigzag stitch again. And like I said, I'm starting with the outside area, and then I'm going to move to the inside of the pants and sew that together. Alright, so once I was done with the pants, I pushed that off to the side, and so now it's time for me to start on the flare, the bottom of the pants. And so what I did is I cut out the arms of each color shirt, and so I'm going to have a flare for the pink side and a flare for the yellow side. I decided to cut out the arms because it's hem at the bottom, and so I wanted a hemmed edge instead of me having to do it myself once I was done. And so I didn't want to use the bottom of the t-shirt because I knew that I was going to be using the bottom for something else. And so I was like, you know, I don't need that much fabric anyway. Why not just go ahead and use the arm? And so, and it's hemmed at the bottom, so that was perfect. And so right now what I'm doing is I'm just making sure that everything is straight and even. I didn't want to use the top part of that arm. I didn't even need that much fabric, like I said. So what I'm doing is, I know I only need like a long piece of fabric. I don't need the curved part because I'm making like a ruffle type of bottom. And so just like a ruffled arm or anything like that, the bottom is going to be flared, and so I'm going to make sure that it's ruffled at the same time. And so how I'm going to do that is I'm taking this piece to my sewing machine and I'm doing a straight stitch. And so I'm doing very big stitches because I'm going to be pulling on the string, which is going to give me that ruffled look, as you guys will see in a second. Once I was done pulling on a string and I got it to how I wanted, I made sure that it fit around the bottom part of the pants leg. And then once I got it to how I wanted it, I went ahead and took it to my sewing machine and I went ahead and did a zigzag stitch all the way around. Once I was done with the yellow side, I did the same exact steps for the pink side. Now this is my measurements. I'm just showing you guys. I cut out my waistband. I cut out my waistband off camera and I sewed them together, and I'm just showing you guys what I got so far. Now for the top part of Alicia's shirt, I went ahead and took one of her shirts that she can fit pretty well, and I used that as an outline or a tracer, and I had went ahead and cut her front and back out as well as her arm piece out as well. Now for the strings that go on each side of the shirt that give it that scrunchy look and to have the strings hanging out on the side, I'm just making my measurements right now. And so the strings are yellow. Yes, you guys guessed right. And so I just have my ruler, and all I know is that I need the strings to be long enough to be able to be hanging out at the bottom. And so you just want to make sure that you have enough fabric for this part, and the strings don't have to be super thick, as you guys can see. So I'm just measuring. This is about 18 inches long and then about 4 inches wide, 3 to 4 inches wide. And so I made lines because this is where I'm going to be cutting. Okay, I'm going to be cutting, and once I am done cutting all of these all out, I'm going to be sewing them all together to have one long string. I'm using a straight stitch to attach all of these pieces together. Once I was done with that, I folded this long piece in half, making sure that the right sides were touching, and then I did a straight stitch, an edge stitch. So you want to get as close as possible to the edge and do a straight stitch all the way down. That's what I did, but I needed to turn it right side out, right? Because right now it is inside out. And so I have this tool. It's like a super long crochet needle or something, like I don't know the exact name. I will find it and I will put it on here, but I use that to help me to turn this long piece of string right side out. This tool is super helpful because if I didn't have this, it would have took me super long to be able to do this. But what you do, or what I did, is I put the tool all the way through to the end of this piece of string, and then I lashed it on at the end, and then I went ahead and started pulling it out. Once I was done, this is what I ended up with. And then last step was I took it back to my sewing machine and I hemmed the edges. I don't want any rough edges. I want a nice clean look. Alright, so let's get into the shirt now. So now I have everything pinned together. I have the right sides touching, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and sew down the sides as well as the top shoulder of the shirt. This is how it turned out. And I also went ahead and sewed the arm piece off camera as well. So now what I'm going to do is that I'm going to go ahead and make my measurements. It's because I want it to be a one shoulder top. So I'm going to go ahead and take some excess fabric off the side of the shirt as well as off the top once I mark my measurements. And then I went ahead and tried it on Alicia before I actually went to the sewing machine and start sewing, because I wanted to make sure it wasn't too small. Once that was done, I took it to my sewing machine and did a straight stitch. Now this is how it turned out. Now I'm going to go ahead and add the strings on each side of the top. And so what I am doing is I need patches, and so that's what I'm going to create. So I'm making my pattern pieces that will be placed on each side of the top. And so based on the measurements that I took on each side, I am going to cut that out. And then I also want to make a line in the middle, because I'm going to be sewing on each side of those on each side of the patch, and then I'm also going to sew straight down on the patch as well, because I want to have two small openings on each side, and then but I want to make sure that the middle is closed. And so this is going to give me that scrunchy look that I need, so that I can have those strings hanging down on both sides of the shirt. I'm going to need two patches. So here I am making my markings and creating the pattern for the other side of my top. Once I was done, I ended up with two pieces like this. Now I went ahead and sewed these patches off camera, and this is how it turned out. Now I'm going to go ahead and take my string, and I put a small safety pin at the end to help me pull the string through those patches on the side. And voila, now I am done, and I have the scrunchy look that I was trying to achieve. Now I'm going to go ahead and do the same exact thing on the other side. After putting the top on her, I did end up adding a small strap on the other side where there is no shoulder, because I was afraid the top was going to come down. But for the most part, it turned out pretty good. So let's get into the final look. So here it is, you guys. Alicia was already getting this outfit dirty because of her ice cream, but I'm telling you guys, she was not going to let me record her unless she got her some ice cream, okay? She is a diva. She gets what she wants, and she knows what she wants. But let me know if you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, go ahead and hit that thumbs up, and do not forget to hit that subscribe button and notification bell. But I will see you all next time. Oh, and don't forget to go on Alicia's Instagram page and show her some love at _AliciaJ. Thank you guys for tuning in. Mwah.